So have we been hijacked by a death cult? I say yes. And the hijacking's been going on now for decades, and it has actually taken root now, and we have problems coming out of our society based on it. Stay with me. By the end, I'm going to share with you and hopefully get you thinking about this, but also I'll share with you the bottom line, the basis of where this is headed and where it came from. Hijacking by a death cult. Let me open with a question. If you see someone screeching on the sidewalk, angry in protest, whether holding a sign or just screeching at the atmosphere, who do you think that screecher voted for? If I was to tell you they are angry that we are trying to protect children in schools. You're not wrong, and I think this is part of it. This one's a little uncomfortable as well, so stay with me. Hopefully I'm going to make you think. Buckle up, here we go. This uncomfortableness is brought to you by Hidden Hybrid Holsters, makers of some awesome everyday carry gear. You can carry hidden and all-day comfortable, huge selection. HiddenHybridHolsters.com. Jump over there. Take a tool that can actually protect you and protect your loved ones and be able to carry it quietly. You people, thank you for every loud thumbs up. Appreciate y'all. All right, Xavier Duraso, he was over on the Tim Pool podcast not that long ago, the Timcast, and a lot of y'all sent it over to me. Xavier is a former BLM activist, and he said some things that got me thinking. So this, in many ways, is just me thinking about what he has shared and me regurgitating some of the things that he shared on Tim Pool's show. A bunch of y'all have sent that to me over the last several weeks saying, Johnny, you've got to talk about this. I've been through it multiple times. I've thought about it. Yeah, this is a mess. The premise is that the left is a death cult or a cult of death. Those are Xavier's words. I am saying that we have been hijacked by a death cult. I think the word cult is super interesting in that we've talked about this 100 times before, in that the progressives, to them, it is a religion. Me and those like me, you can't put us in a box. We don't all agree on pretty much anything other than leave us alone and leave the children alone. Last week, Target's CEO said, you know what, we kind of crossed the line when we went after children. I'm going to take it a step further and say you went over the line when you started trying to offer products to help children tuck their Vienna sausages, and that's a problem. That is a problem. I know I said that in a funny way, but it's not funny. It's horrific. And lockstep with that is Xavier's premise that the left is a death cult. I'm going to change the words and maybe just say the progressives are a death cult, or the hard left, or the ones that are trying to make the policies that affect us all. And I've taken some notes here on things that I've been thinking about. Policy, value, and legislation that is all about death. It is a religion of death, and it's kind of opened my eyes to the way that I think about what we are up against. Depopulation, nonstop. There are articles, just type it into Google, and that's one of my points today. Anything that I'm talking about here or things that you think about, jump on Google, and you're going to find stuff that is shocking, that's not being talked about, but the articles are there, and in some cases, the research is there. You've got progressive researchers that are pushing in some sketchy directions. There was the one poll that I forget who had it on the other day. I'll put a graphic up here, and he said, "Would the world be better with humans or without humans? With humans or without?" And his audience said without. Like 40% said without. Depopulation. They love this stuff. The powers that be, the elites, they want you off the planet. Destruction of the nuclear family. This is one of the main ones. It is almost, just go sit down and do what I do. Sit down this week and suffer through watching the NBA Finals if you're not a sports fan. If you are a sports fan, you may enjoy the product and the show, but watch the commercials. Just sit down on any day and just watch the commercials. They are against. Watch any new TV show that comes out this fall when the new offerings hit the networks. Watch them. It is going to be the dad, if there is a dad who is anything but alphabet soup. If he's a normal dad, he will be a moron. From Homer Simpson forward, all dads on all TV shows, almost without exception, are idiots. Destruction of the nuclear family, and that branches out into 100 different ways. I'm using TV as an example. 100 different ways that they are against the nuclear family. Italy this week has announced that during June it's going to be Nuclear Family Pride Month. That's interesting. How's that going over? I support it. How about a society that doesn't work? All of their policies, the left's policies, are all about staying at the house, sitting on the front porch, and gathering a paycheck. Dad said to me yesterday, if you don't work, you don't eat. Y'all know where that comes from. But that is true. You don't work, you don't eat. We have an entire half, it's probably more than half, because a lot of the GOP right now are rhinos to the point where they are just leftists wearing an elephant. How about killing the unborn? That one I'm not touching too far. We talked about it a little bit on here before, but just the obsession with killing the unborn. How about killing the terminally ill? It's not just Jack Kevorkian days back in the 80s. That is still here today. The terminally ill are now have a target on them. Breitbart reported not long ago that Denmark is looking at killing terminally ill children, murdering them. Yep, a devaluing of life to the point of murdering children who happen to have a terminal illness. How about police defunding? That's one that I think is interesting. Anything that tears down the structure and the fabric of America, that moves us from what I love, the Andy Griffith days, to the days of mostly peaceful protest. Why? That's a great question. Why? How about the alphabet soup, folks? I mean, all of that is about non-procreation and, again, the destruction of the nuclear family. It's a problem. Overrunning our country with non-American values and non-American individuals. It is okay to be an American, and it is okay to have American values. The far left, they will hold it. You take any country, they will hold them up and go, oh, the brave people of whatever country, and we need to protect them, protect their values. But us, no. Overrun us to the point where we are watered down and unrecognizable left voting. Finally, the sterilization. That's an interesting one right now that's going on. Sterilization of children. And this is committing atrocities and absurdities in the name of progress. And all of that combined together, it is all about death. It is all about not just destruction, but a cult of death. And I believe we have been hijacked. Somebody stopped me the other day and they said, Johnny, why? We were talking specifically about protecting schools and using to protect schools and protect children the same way that Congress protects themselves, because every politician wants to have protection, and yet they all do have protection. All the politicians in Washington have 24-hour-a-day armed security, but they want every school to be a soft target. And they came to me and said, why? And I said, Marxism. The very basis of this, and I know some of y'all, you know this whole phrase, to the theologian, all wars are about religion. To the economist, all wars are about the economy. And you can go through that. Well, I'm going to say it's all about Marxism. There's going to be some of y'all are typing and say, well, it's about Satan and the worshiping of Satan, a la what happened at Target. I'm going to call it Marxism, and what was ushered in by the baby boomers during the 60s, during their college days, and their chanting in the street and the tearing down of society. I long for the days of Andy Griffith. I'm Johnny B, and I'm here to say that it's okay to be an American. It's okay to be white. It's okay to be straight. It's okay to be a man, and it's okay to be a Christian.